nurturing. And I think it's only been 2 people that have actually responded, but I feel that gave me 2 people that I'm now conversing with. So I'm happy with that.
That's awesome. Was that listing already on the market?
Yeah, that was a property. It was a home for $250,000 in a neighborhood. And then I just said, beautiful listing, who wants to live close to the Fox River? And boom, that's where I got, 7 people through. So I have another home going up next week with an in-ground pool, and it's in a Lakewood community in Plano. So it's not that, it's not that desired of a neighborhood, but I'm going to try to do a Facebook ad for that home. So hopefully I'll get more leads that way.
Awesome. I love that. And I'm sure your sellers love that too, because you are actually getting some prospects.
Yes, absolutely.
Has anybody else?
Just another way to touch the sellers and have a conversation with them about this new lead generating system we have.
The reason I like that one a lot is because I think for me personally too, sometimes I think, okay, that listing's already on the market. They have that information available to them. They're not going to give me their name and number for information that's already on the internet, but they do. Like, it just makes it so much more convenient. This ad's right here in front of me right now. I don't have to go search for this listing. I'm just going to click submit information, and Rosemary is going to call me with all of the information I want on this listing. Mm-hmm. Has anybody else given those a try? I like those ones because they're just so simple and they produce results. Like Rosie said, 7 leads so far.
Mm-hmm. AJ, can I ask a question? This is Maribel Lopez. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Maribel.
I do the Facebook the boost. Is that what we're talking about? Is that what we're referring to?
No. So great question, actually. We do Facebook ads through command, and that's kind of what we're talking about. Ads are a little bit different than boosts. So what a boost is essentially just a regular Facebook post that you pay to get a little bit more engagement on. You just pay to get that in front of more eyeballs.
Got it.
An advertisement is very ephemeral. It only exists as an advertisement. It doesn't exist on your page. And its sole purpose is to get you business. It's specially optimized by Facebook to find people that might be home shopping, or at least are going to give you their information to talk to them.
Got it. Because I do the boost regularly for all of my listings, or just in general for the business. And you can see how far it's reached, how many engagements, I can see all of that, but it sounds very different than what Rosemary was just explaining. And I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean leads? What do you mean somebody clicked on something? I haven't gotten that. Special.
The boosts too, they're not as effective as getting people to see them that are outside of your purview already. So some people, it might get some engagement from people that aren't already connected to you, but it's primarily people that you've already got some sort of connection with on Facebook.
Okay.
I've done like 4 boosts, and I've definitely gotten people outside of my purview, but they also seem like, even though I've changed the parameters to be 15 miles from the actual house, I seem to get a lot of people downtown Chicago, which isn't really the market that we're in. I haven't tried an ad because I can't get it to work. But my boosts have all reached people outside of my purview, but I don't know how to connect with them because I always email and say, hey, give me your number, I'll call you. But I don't have their contact info, so looking forward to an ad.
I feel like the biggest difference is that you can see your Facebook ad on your business page, and you can pay for that boost, but you can pay all this money, but if people don't reach out, or if you reach out to them and they don't give you their name and their email, then it's kind of wasted money. But if you go through command and you create an ad, you're not going to see that ad on your business Facebook page. It's going to be basically when people are just scrolling and looking at their, the news feed, then your ad will actually show up. And I was like, well, how do I measure that? Well, you measure that because some people are interested and they're going to give you their email and their phone number. And what I thought was fantastic is when I created that ad, actually Karen Prawl actually signed herself up as a lead. And so I was like, oh my gosh, she saw my ad, and she's in Naperville and I'm in Yorkville. So I know the system works. So I'm excited about that.
We've ran multiple ads so far. The problem that we're having is we get a lot of bogus email and phone numbers, because it's my understanding that whatever they set up their Facebook account with, that's the email attached to these leads, I believe. I'm hoping to get clarity on that, and the phone number. Like my Facebook account, I think I used my landline from when I lived in Itasca, and I don't even have that number anymore. So I would be one of those with a bad phone number, I think. So we're getting leads when we run ads. Some are more blocked than others. But that's why I was interested in the content ideas, because I am not a marketing genius, not my thing.
Perfect. All right. So just to go ahead and try and get as many of these kind of like ground rules on Facebook ads as possible out of the way. Yep. So we do always recommend that we're using those Facebook lead generation forms. That's kind of what Beth was talking about, where they've already put information in on Facebook. Fortunately, it's not the information they signed up for Facebook with. So it's not their freshman year first email address ever that they no longer have access to. It's usually something else that they've signed up for another ad for. So they can change that if they want to, and it does depend on how accurate information they put in there. The cool thing about that is, for them and for the quantity of leads, if they've ever filled out an ad on Facebook before, they're just hitting the submit button. So Facebook just brings up all of the information they've ever put in a Facebook ad before, and it says, is this still your email address? Is this still your phone number? Is this still your name? And they just hit submit. So we get a larger quantity of leads. And of course, that quality is just going to be hit or miss. The metric that I always hear, and the metric I always recommend, is about 1 out of 100 leads is going to be your conversion ratio if you're following up pretty consistently. Which, if we're looking at the price of these Facebook leads, that's still an amazing ROI. So we're going to try not to talk about the mechanics of everything too much. We want to kind of get into the content a little bit, but as the mechanics become like a hindrance, I'll stop and jump in here and there. The next one, so after that listing showcase, and do we have any agents who just don't have a listing right now? Perfect. The one that I love, and it's going to be a little weird right now, is going to be open house showcase. So it's exactly the same format as a listing. It's just for an open house. You're going to reach out to another KW agent. You're going to ask to host an open house for them and ask if you can run some supplementing ads. 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes. Nobody wants less exposure on their listing. They want more exposure. And if you're the one working the lead, I'd be happy to work with a KW buyer's agent on the other side. Has anybody tried those open house ads and had any success with those, running ads for another person's listing? All right, moving on then.
Supposed to get a house from Kristen Jungles to promote, so maybe we could do this.
Yeah, that would be an awesome one. Love that Kristen's always like so willing to support everyone. The next one that I took a few lists just in case like we need some ideas to percolate the conversation, but everybody can jump in with different ideas that they have. So the next one I have down is a list of open houses. So this one's pretty cool if you got maybe a city or an area that's pretty popular for first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers really like to start their search at open houses. I guess also move-up buyers. I just don't work with all that many of them. They love to start their searches at the open houses. They like to not feel like they have, any commitment right up front. So a list of open houses is exactly as simple as it sounds. You're just going to go onto the MLS, pull up your market area, and filter by open houses. You can go ahead and just print that list as a PDF. And what I normally do, if anybody's curious about this, we could probably do a Facebook Live on this at some point because this is going to come up later on. What I do to host PDFs or documents is I put it into my Google Drive and I make the link shareable so that way anybody on the internet can see that PDF. And that just ends up being my destination in the ad.
I'm sorry, you said we could see a list of open houses in the MLS?
Yep, you could do open houses and tours, I think is the tab. Is that correct?
Yeah, in the status drop down, one of the list options is opens and tours.
Okay.
I've heard of people doing the same type of thing with a list of price changes, recent price changes.
Oh, that's a good one. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
I know some market centers are doing it and doing like they're having the agents. So the market center has been paying for it. This is not around here. I've just heard of team leaders talking about it. That the market center will do the ad, and then as leads come in, they have the agents pay for the ad then for that lead and disperse the leads that way.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's a unique solution there.
Yeah, somebody at Family Reunion was talking about it. But why not do it yourself and get several leads instead of just one?
So basically do an ad about new price improvement, and then what would my call to action be? Price improvement?
Yeah,
So-
do you want to list the local, the properties in your area that have recently made a price improvement? And
I think it would be really nice if you could write a list for us, because we are not marketing gurus, to kind of help us do our own, call to actions, or because I think the first ad I remember, AJ, I called you and I'm like, what do I put down? Because I'm not, I can describe a home, but those call to action sentences, I have a hard time, I guess, putting that together.
So the call to action one, I like, because once you find a sentence that works, you could use it for pretty much any ad. And it's usually something along the lines of click learn more, because that's what your button says, learn more. Click learn more for instant access to the information. So for this one, it would be click
Okay.
learn more for instant access to the list of recent price changes.
And so on that one, your link is taking you to that Google form, and then do they have to provide your information before they get to see it, or is it automatically populating?
So on Facebook is where they provide the information, and Facebook won't let them move forward until they've given us their information.
Okay. So they're clicking on Facebook, that's capturing the information. Okay,
Yeah.
question.
go into your command account.
Okay.
Is that a landing page?
Oh, good question. I think I saw that come up in the chat briefly a second ago. No, it's technically not a landing page. Facebook has a pop-up form, and give it a try sometime. A lot of Facebook ads these days use the Facebook lead gen form, and that pops up while you're still on Facebook.
Okay, see, I sound like an extra idiot because Sarah does this stuff
No.
anyway, so I have to know what I'm talking about because Sarah actually does this. I have never run an ad, so when I say I have run, I'm lying. Sarah does all of this for me, so I should have Sarah on this call. Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's a cool one. Carrie just put in the chat, how about an ad for Investors Welcome? So maybe a list of distressed properties. There's certain areas where it's really easy to filter out distressed properties in the MLS, because there are things that there's just a ton of, or a good handful of homes that are 20% below market value. So you're just setting an upper limit on those prices. That'd be a pretty cool one.
AJ, there were a couple of questions. Somebody said, where can we find the videos to make Facebook ads from command?
We have a few in the E2P group where we posted this link. And then we also have a ton on YouTube. We'll keep sharing those out.
And then Sonia put in here that Lori Balin actually did a video, it's probably on her YouTube channel, about the list of price changes. So that could be a good resource for you guys to check out.
Nice. Thanks for checking that, chat.
Yep. I know it's hard when you're presenting. You have such a tiny little chat screen.
Before I jump in with a couple of other ones, does anybody else have any ideas that they want to share, or any ideas that they want to bounce off of the group and see if they would work?
Well, I guess I have a question on the investors welcome that I put in the chat. So it's actually, I asked specifically because I have a property listed that I'm having a hard time selling it. I don't, and the corona is not helping. So it's not a fixer upper. It's rather like if they want to buy it as a rental property. So it's a townhome that could be rented out. So that's why, I mean, would that still be a good title for if I were to do an ad for that one because it's rentable?
Oh, that's a good question. And does anybody else have any thoughts on that? I have some ideas, but I don't know if the one I'm thinking is long-term investment property or great opportunity to buy and hold.
Yeah, that's better because you're right. When you think investors welcome, you think it's a distressed property, and that's what I don't want people to think. But yeah, what was that? Can you type it in the thing so I could just have it?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Thank you.
Here, I got it, AJ.
Oh, thank you. Nobody likes to watch me type, I guess.
I was already typing.
All right. These next two are very command centric. And I just like them because they're mostly done for you already. And those are buyer guides and seller guides. So if we go on into designs, we have the full listing presentation as well as the full buyer presentation. If you just cut out, actually you get to pick what pages you put in. If you just put in the pages on the steps to buying a home or the steps to selling a home, then your Facebook ad can be, your offer would be download a free guide or a free checklist to get your home sold today, or download a free buyer guide to start your home buying process. So I've recently converted from regular or just like drip coffee to an AeroPress. And it's good because it's like easy to clean up and it makes really good coffee. The thing is though, I always forget to tip it over fast enough and I always make a mess. So I have a little bit of a mess here. Perfect. Any thoughts on that one?
It's simple, and it's already done in command for you. You don't have to do anything.
All right, this next one I'm going to share my screen for just for a quick second, just because it's a little bit of a commercial, but it's a good one. Can you guys see Google right now?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm just going to go to kw.com for this one. But if with your command KW site, you could just go straight to there. And so it's going to be your branded website. But what's cool and what's really simple about this one is just like the one that we did earlier with kind of an actual listing or a single listing. We could do just a certain search criteria. So for instance, I'm trying to think of a city really quick. Let's go with Downers Grove. That's in the middle of everything. So I could do a search for Downers Grove, and then I can actually add some filters to this search. So let's say I wanted to do under a certain price point. Then on my website, I'm just going to take that price filter and move that down to what would be attractive in Downers Grove. Homes under 350,000?
Yes.
All right. So then I'm just going to apply that filter to this page. And if you could see up top, this URL is actually, it's kind of weird to read, but this URL is actually showing me that this is for a search in Downers Grove, Illinois for prices up to $350,000. So this URL would actually be where I'm directing people to, so that way they go straight to this page. And my advertisement would be homes in Downers Grove under $350,000. So homes under a certain price point in a specific area, especially in our markets like Downers Grove or Naperville or Glen Ellen, where the price points tend to not be very starter home friendly. And so if we're showing first-time home buyers prices that are a little bit more starter home, it's kind of already curated for them and they already have a resource to go look at. Has anybody tried anything like that before? What are your thoughts on that? What's your gut reaction? Because the first time I saw that and the first time I thought about running that, I was like, well, if somebody wants homes under $350,000, they're just going to go to Zillow. But that hasn't been the case. There are a lot of people that are very passively in the market and don't know which websites have the best information. So they're just gathering resources from everywhere. And you can get to them pretty early in that conversation.
I have a question. I was on my phone, I'm sorry. So you went to your website?
And you just do your search criteria on your website.
And then once that's in place, then you copy and paste the URL.
Yep.
And then where are you putting this URL? When you do a Facebook ad?
Yep.
No.
So, yep. When I'm doing a Facebook ad. So here, I'll show you. Share the screen again. You guys can see the screen, right?
Almost. Now we can.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So I think I have a campaign window open. So right here under the Facebook ad portion.
How do you turn off your computer?
I can't turn it off.
I know, I'm just saying.
I'll let you know later. Sorry.
You're good. Right here. So our destination, this URL is where we're sending them afterwards, and that's where I would choose to send them.
Yeah, because I think like the only thing I've done is just put the listing URL in there. So this is a search within this price parameter.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
I've done something.
That's cool.
Before the Facebook ads were out, I did something like that for an agent who had an ad in a local newsletter magazine type thing, and we put a QR code and a bit.ly link on it. So we just saved, what did we do? We set up a neighborhood, like what you would do in the monthly neighborhood nurture, but we set it up under a fake contact and used that specific neighborhood nurture link for the ad.
Oh, that's a really creative one. Can you say that again?
Yes.
I'm lost.
Has anybody used monthly neighborhood nurtures for their contacts already? Okay, so what I did with one of my agents was we set up a fake contact that we labeled like newsletter ad, or whatever the ad was. So if you name it the same thing you're making your Facebook campaign ad, you could just name the contact that. And then we set up neighborhoods that were specific for the ad that she was making. And we used that link for the landing page that created in the advertisement.
I thought when you did a neighborhood nurture, you need a person's email. No, wait, I'm lost.
So we didn't set up,
Amy? Can you do that again? Say that again.
Okay, so we set up a fake contact, and we picked a couple neighborhoods for what the ad was that she was creating, and we set up those neighborhoods as the landing page that you normally would for a real client, and we shared that link in the advertisement.
I don't know how to do that.
So I don't know. I know it's one of those things for me. It's easier to like show than do.
I'm like, what?
Do you guys all know how to set up a neighborhood for a client in Command?
Yes, but you need an email so that they can get.
Well, you need an email if you're sending it to them. You don't need an email to just set it up. So you can go through the whole process, and when you make the neighborhood, when you save it into the contact, it will have a button in there that says copy link or copy URL, and you can use that link in your Facebook ad.
Can you show me what that looks like? Because I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
So Amy, that might not be a bad thing around a listing then, maybe, right? Where you pull like that neighborhood if you're doing a listing ad?
Yeah.
If I'm following you, I'm a little slow.
There's probably a lot of things you could do with it. It's just, so the page that AJ showed us was what people can go to and search for on your website already. And it's all that you type in the address or, you know, whatever area, just like he showed with whatever parameters you want. But the difference between that and those landing pages for the neighborhoods is that you can set it up so for people to toggle through. So it's all set for them and they don't have to think about it.
I'm sorry. Somebody had to blow their nose.
It happens.
Allergies.
I've sneezed on this and it's happened to like freeze frame, like the frame is like frozen, like while I was making my dumb sneeze face. So like Zoom does not have our back, people. They're
It is what it is.
For us to do stuff like that to freeze us.
So I have one quick question. AJ and Amy, you both touched on something that I've been working with. So I went to my KW page, right? And I did that property search within a price parameter. But you say, AJ, we can copy that URL. And then Amy, I actually started to use Bitly because it shrinks it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is there a certain length that I want to use Bitly at, or does it matter?
Good question.
So actually Amy's probably going to be a really good resource on this. My rule of thumb is normally like, if somebody can see the link, like if I'm going to put it somewhere where they actually see the text of the link, I use Bitly because it looks a little neater. Okay. For anything else where they're not going to see the link, I usually just think, doesn't matter what it looks like.
Thank you so much. That makes a lot of sense.
I like it for a couple of reasons. First of all, Bitly's free. If you guys don't know that, they do have a free account and it will track analytics. So if you're using it outside of this type of platform, you can see where your clicks are coming from. And you can also customize the tail end. So it'll always be bit.ly/ and then some numbers and letters, but you can customize it as well. So if you want it to be like Red Day or something, you can do that. So that's a nice feature of it as well. But I use it a lot in print because you don't want a URL
that's a good one.
People have to type in, right? So if you're doing a flyer, you just want bit.ly Red Day or whatever. I can't think of anything else. It's on my brain right now.
So if I did the Bitly and I did the search, I could actually do DG home search, or so that way I can keep it categorized, right?
Yeah. And of course, it will have to be a unique URL, so you might have to try through a few options before Bitly says this isn't taken. And it is case sensitive, so you need to keep that in mind when you're doing it as well.
Okay, very good.
I have a quick question. What you were saying about the neighborhood nurture, and you could copy that link from the fake contact.
Yep.
So I have a neighborhood like Facebook page that everybody follows. Could you copy that link and just say, hey, this is what's going on in our neighborhood, and not necessarily put it in an ad, but just like target your neighborhood?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So that came up actually, not for that exact reason, Brittany, but that came up because somebody was, tomorrow actually, they're planning to go live in their Facebook page or their Facebook group for one of their open houses. And so they weren't sure, like, where do I send the traffic? Should I send it to my Facebook page? Should I send it to a description of the listing? And then ultimately they decided to just send it to that Facebook page. So that way people can be ready for it when that open house goes live tomorrow.
Is there a way to track like who clicks on it, or?
So you could still set it up as a lead form. So that way that person still has to give you their information before they go in.
Okay. Perfect.
I pulled up a neighborhood nurture. Do you want me to screen share it really quick?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Trisha, it's yours that I made for you. So thanks for volunteering.
No worries.
Okay. This guy. All right. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. So Trisha, I have her set up. I do have her email in here, but I'm not actually going to send this to her. So we have a bunch of towns already, neighborhoods set up. And there's a button right here that says copy link.
Oh.
So all you have to do is hit that copy and then you can paste it into your ad. So when you
cool.
when you do it, this is the page that they would have access to. So you can set up all the neighborhoods that they have access to right away. And then if they are doing a search on it, you'll see in that contact that there's activity on this. Obviously, you won't see who it is, but at that point, to get to this, they'll have already had to fill out that Facebook lead capture form. So you'll have it through that. And they do have the opportunity to fill out this contact form if they want to, but there's no guarantee they would do that. Did that help?
Yeah.
Okay, because then they have this too. These cool, all the neighborhood stats are in here. And it's not going to load now, but that's okay.
No, that's great.
Just checking the chat. Amy, your internet seems to be a lot faster than mine. Would you like to demo the next one?
Oh, sure. What do you need me to pull up?
So it's going to be the consumer page on command.
Is it okay that I'm in a demo account and not a real account?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Oh, got a few more people coming on in.
Okay.
Perfect. If you head over to...
Sorry, I had to pull my notes over.
You're good. Site and app settings. This one's going to be for if you want to start getting some downloads on your app. I know most of us have been playing around with the app, and we're kind of
okay.
50-50 on how we feel about the app and whether or not we feel it's ready for our clients. One of the things that I would say is even if you are 100% adamant that it's not ready for your clients, you could still give it to potential leads and just use it as a lead capture tool in the meantime. So these Facebook lead people are people you've never spoken to. So if you can get just a few of them hooked on your app, then when they're ready to contact an agent, they're just going to click on the Ask AJ button on the app. So you just got some kind of longer term lead cycles there. So I just think that's a great reason to go ahead and get people downloading this. So we're inside of Command right now, and we're under the consumer applet. And so once you're in here, you're going to go to site and app settings like Amy already did. And then we're going to go to the URLs. And that very first URL is a completely like, what's the word I'm looking for? Completely like phone agnostic link. So if you copy that link and open that up, it gives people the option to download it regardless of whether or not they're on Apple or Android. And they can even text it straight to themselves. So that way they don't have to open this up on their phone if they open this up on their computer.
This is what they'll see. And assuming you've branded it to yourself, your information will be on here.
We've done a few classes on branding this, but we're going to do a lot more over the next couple of weeks since this app is really starting to roll out for everyone. Remember, like it did a really gradient rollout where, you know, there was 1 million people on it and they were unloading it to, I think like 10,000 or so a day. I think we're towards the tail end of that. So pretty much everybody should have the downloaded app pretty soon here, or the upgraded app pretty soon here.
Steve.
So once we...
Steven.
I can't see who's talking. Let me see. So once, probably sometime in the next week or two, we're going to do a lot more apps on how you brand these links and how you make sure the app is showing up as your branded app, just to make sure you can use this as a good lead generation tool.
Can I do a quick side note? Because I know Brian Anderson's on this call.
Yeah, of course.
Brian, this site pages button is what I was saying you have to come into to set up your website. So if you've made all your pages but haven't gone into site pages and done add page, it won't show up on the live feed.
I've done that. I had one client do a testimonial and it populated.
Okay.
It just, when I went in and entered all my old ones from my prior website, nothing showed up.
Okay, I can work with you on that. I just was like, I don't know how to explain this through text.
I'm not going to lie, Brian. I'm really happy that you're a fish on Zoom today.
Aren't I awesome?
It got a good laugh out of me.
Okay. Anywho, back to what AJ was talking about.
No, I just think that's a really good one. The other one that's pretty awesome. Do you have the demo site up open already?
Like our website?
Yeah. It really doesn't matter. We can talk about this when we don't have to show, I guess, because showing takes a while.
Okay.
The other one that's pretty cool, and we have a lot of examples on. So if you guys aren't in Command Your Conversions on Facebook, join that group. I'll type it into the chat just so we have it everywhere. But pretty much what's going on is a lot of people that are using Facebook ads at a high level, and there are a few other groups. This one's just the largest. Command Your Conversions is a Facebook group. There are a lot of people using Facebook ads at a pretty high level. And one of the ones that they've been sharing that's had pretty good success is using Keller Mortgage as a lead generation tool.
That was on my list.
And so for our offer, Keller Mortgage would be our offer.
We're running those now.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is our second round of running them. Yeah.
How's that turning out for you so far? Have you any luck, or how's that conversation?
They've been slow. You know, they haven't been pouring in, but you know, I don't know. It's like I said, we're running into a lot of bad phone numbers. So we just started another ad. It kicked off Thursday or Friday. So I'll see how many we get on that. But right now I'm running a few ads. I'm running 4 properties plus the Keller Mortgage. We kicked off 5 ads Friday.
Dang! Wow.
So, yeah. I'll let you know. I'll let you know next week.
All right. I look forward to it. Is anybody not familiar with Keller Mortgage? Like, if you're just like not sure why we would run a Keller Mortgage ad, can you just like raise your hand? Or
We have our first client going to be closing with Keller Mortgage in a couple weeks. So we've got our first guinea pig in. So far, so good.
All right, cool. So I saw a couple of hands there. Just so everybody knows, Keller Mortgage is they offer a 0+ loan for anybody that works with a Keller Williams agent. So what that means is there's 0 origination fees, plus they get $1,000 towards closing costs. Or it doesn't necessarily have to be towards closing costs. It's just anything that wraps up with the transaction. So anybody that works with you qualifies for a Keller Mortgage loan. That's 0 origination fees, which usually saves them about a point or two in total, and then an additional $1,000 towards whatever is going to ease their costs at closing.
And you can offer that as the seller too, to any buyers coming in.
Now, one of the things that I've had a couple of our lenders to talk about, or actually Todd has mentioned it a few times, is Todd is probably one of the best lenders in our area if you're not working with him, but he's a very good communicator, and that is part of his value. So what he says is absolutely Keller Mortgage is a great option for people that 100% know what they're doing, but a lot of people want to talk to a lender. So he's very happy to follow up with those Keller Mortgage, and probably most of your lenders will be, to follow up with those Keller Mortgage leads and just explain to them what both options are. Yes, this is a great lead gen tool for that 0+ loan, but if you still want to be working with your in-person lender, or if you feel like your transaction goes smoother with a certain lender, you can still talk to them about the benefits of going with that lender. Just like with the listing ones, just because it's the listing that they clicked on doesn't mean it's the listing you're going to sell them. It's kind of the same idea there.
AJ, there's been a couple of questions that have come in over the past minute or two. Cindy, did we answer your question? How would you share just the neighborhood stats?
No.
So what are you looking for with that?
So rather than sending them to a bunch of neighborhoods, or they have to then move over to a link to get to the stats, can we just get that stats page?
Did you get to that?
Does that make sense?
I've heard of it. I've got some feedback going on.
All right, so I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think the question was, instead of sending them to the first page where they landed on like just viewing the homes in the neighborhood, could we send them straight to the stats page? And the answer is yes. It's a whole new URL when you're on the stats page, so you could just make that the link that you're sending them to.
Yeah, so you would have to go to the website before you do the ad and then click that button that says neighborhood stats, and then you would copy that URL instead of the first one. Does that make sense?
It does, thank you. And is that URL just at the top of the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, let's see, we had Sonia said, could you show us how to do the Keller Mortgage for an ad? Did that help what AJ just discussed? Okay, she said yes, that helped. Okay, so I think that was it. I think we got everything else in there.
Perfect,
Can
perfect.
I ask something?
Yes, 100%.
When you send somebody your app, and they download it, can they pick their own neighborhoods from there on? They could, right?
Yep.
Okay, I figured. Okay, thank you.
Just a quick side note on the app. Play with it, like download it and play with it. Find the stuff you like about it. It makes it so much easier to pitch once you find some stuff that you like. So me and Ann, actually, what we do is we've set up a couple of collections. And so collections are pretty unique to our app, where they're kind of like little Pinterest boards, but for houses.
You want a bite of this? I'll eat it all.
And so we've titled these little collections Absurdly Nice Houses on the West Coast or Absurdly Nice Houses on the East Coast. So we just like, and whenever we get bored or if we got like free time or somebody's on the train, like we're just looking up like beautiful homes in Nantucket and throw that into the Absurdly Nice Houses collection. And so like, that's just like a fun thing that you can't do on a lot of other search apps. So like, look for those little things that are just kind of fun and appealing. That might be something that I start to run advertisements around pretty soon here, because I don't know any other real estate app that you could do that with.
Can you explain that a little more?
Sure. So see if I can get this on screen. I don't have the cool screen share technology that Amy has. So I'm just going real old school here. Oh, my background blurs it out. All right, never mind. Essentially what it is you create a little board or a little collection where you and anybody you invite into this group can put homes into that bucket.
It's kind of like making a Pinterest board.
You do it from command, like a landing page? How do you do it?
You do it from the consumer app.
Do you log into yourself? And then I found it, I opened my app, and so then you go to feed, and then you click on what, collections, and then you create a collection, give it a unique name, and then you can share that collection with people?
Yep, and you can invite anybody you want into that collection. It's pretty cool.
And you can advertise the fact that people can do this. So they can make a collection for their dream home. For, some people really love old houses, like vintage properties, right? So like that could be a collection. You could do like suggest that people that that travel to the same area every year to vacation, make a collection for that area. So like if I go to the Ozarks every year, I want to buy a home down there eventually. So I could make a collection for that area.
That's a cool one.
Okay, sorry. So we start off with the search, right? We start off with the search. We pick houses that we want, and then we make them in the collection. Because when I press my feed and I go to collections, there's nothing.
You can create a collection there. So when you go to your feed, you'll have like a little tab that says collections. And then, that's pretty much when you're searching for a home, you're just going to add it right into there, and you can name it whatever you like. So it's the save button, and that's where you're creating those collections at.
Thank you.
No, I think that's a cool one. There's a lot of stuff like that where it's small, but it's fun. And you could find those for just about anything that you're using. The other one that's pretty cool right now, and I have no clue how to do it yet, but I think it would be a good idea. So if anybody else wants to pioneer it, or if we just want to wait till we've hacked it out. Since we've started using Zoom, I've realized that for a small upgrade, you can host webinars on Zoom. So if anybody's ever done any buyer seminars in the past, you could do a webinar, and it'd be, whatever it is, like a home buying seminar, how to sell and buy when you're ready to move up, and host that as a gated webinar and just drive traffic to that with Facebook ads.
If you're looking to grow your downline, you could do the same thing for hosting a career night.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm not sure. Sorry. I'm not sure, but I've got to look into this. But someone else I talked to down in Florida, she has a paid Zoom account, and I think you can do Facebook Lives through Zoom.
You can. You really can. I forget where the button is, but right now we could be live on Facebook if I just activated it.
Cool.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, one of my struggles is I have some Matterport stuff, and then it's like, oh, then either I've had the Matterport tour, or I don't have the video, or I have the video no Matterport, right? And so the Matterport, I've caught up most of my listings on Matterport, and I thought, what if I did an open house using Matterport with a Zoom Facebook Live, and then I drove the Matterport.
That's a pretty cool idea, because there are a lot of folks out there that aren't comfortable with that dollhouse view. So if you're walking through it with them and for them, that'd be a big value add, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know who you just gave that spite thumbs up to, but
Oh, that was
I'm
to
for it.
Beth Gary.
Deb, we talked to Sergio. Sarah and I called Sergio because you know me, I'm like a techie train wreck.
Yeah.
So I know Sergio's pretty up with it. So Sarah and I reached out to him on Thursday, and he basically said just that, where you can go through, do it, record it, and then put it out there. So Sarah, she looked at me because she already knew what her list for Friday and Thursday were, and she kind of made the eyeballs at me like, I'm not going to be able to get this done by Friday. So I said, that's cool. I said, let's work on it Monday, and then we can get that up and running next week.
So, but she recorded. So did she record it on her own Zoom?
She's going to do that on Monday. So she's going to go through the Matterport, record it, and then we can put the Matterport recorded video out. Exactly what you're saying. Yes.
Okay. So she recorded it on Zoom, walked through it, talked through it, and then she'll pump it out that way.
Yep.
And then if you do it as like a Facebook watch party, you can have the video playing and still monitor the comments.
Do you see all the light bulbs popping out of my head?
So this brought us into kind of the atomic bomb of Facebook ads here, and that's video. If you can do video or anything that's going to be moving at audio and visual, like that is going to get so many more eyeballs than anything else. So something like that, Deb, is probably going to perform really, really well, because everybody on the internet's just like me. They don't like to read. They just like to watch. So as long as there's a video there.
Could you do, sorry.
Go for it.
No, I was going to say, since you brought up video, like the first thing that came to mind was, instead of making an ad for a buyer's guide, make a video of yourself basically having the buyer consultation by yourself. Just to kind of like, you know what I mean? Like do that on a video. Like, would that be a good one?
That'd be a really good one. Are you guys familiar with Loom, LOOM.com?
No.
So I'll throw that in the chat just because it's free.
I got it.
Okay. It's completely free, and it's really easy to use. But what Loom does is it allows you to record your screen and your face at the same time. So you'll be in the image as like a little circle on like the lower left-hand corner. And you can like kind of scroll through your buyer's guide and be a little talking head there and kind of describing what's going on there. So that way you don't have to put a lot of work into a high production video. You could just pump one of those out really quickly and run an ad on that.
It'd be best if you played some Talking Heads music in the background too.
Hey, I'm all about, like, I'm a completionist, not a perfectionist. Done is better than perfect. So
and people want to know the real you. You can be more authentic that way. They feel like they get to know you as a person. And that's good. It helps build a rapport.
Yeah.
Could you do something? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I just did a really quick 30-second extremely stupid video yesterday. And,
it was awesome.
And I'm amazed at, I put on my business page, and it's had like 500 views so far.
What did you say?
Awesome.
I didn't even really talk. I didn't talk about real estate at all. I just I'd had it when I saw the snow, and I put on a floral skirt. I put on a tank top, and I put on I put a scarf and a beanie, and I wore my Keen hiking boots, stood outside in front of my house, and just made a joke about the spring market is here, and pointed out my magnolia tree that totally looks awful now, and then I had some pansies that I had just gotten at Home Depot not too long ago, and I said, well, this is my favorite tree, and it really looks like shit right now, but here's some pansies, and Easter's here, spring is here, and I'm just and then my husband, he filmed it and he threw a snowball at me, and after that it was 30 seconds, and a lot of people liked it.
And it was Facebook Live?
No, I just recorded it. Okay. Yeah, and then I put it out there, and
I think people are so bored right now because they're stuck home, and they have, that they're stuck home. Well, now it's nice today, but I think people just really appreciate us being like real genuine. I mean, we may be realtors, we may be professionals, but we're also human. We have families, and it's funny to poke fun at ourselves because people really appreciate that.
It was perfect, Deb. It was awesome.
Oh,
thanks. Have to go see
it. It just seems to me like those, at least for me, those of us who are afraid are nervous about getting out there and having it be super polished. I am super bunched up about that personally. Now is the time to get over it and take advantage of it, because nobody's expecting perfect, and we're all stir crazy now. So the quirkier, the better.
I love that. So, that's awesome.
Yeah.
With the video that I mentioned about the buyer's consultation, would you say that it'd be better to do so if I were to create an ad of a buyer's consultation video, for them to be able to watch it right away, or they have to click on something so that I can get that lead info to them, and then they can watch the video?
So here's something that we didn't touch on a whole lot in this mastermind, but there's kind of a big distinction between marketing and lead generation. And so our focus today has been on lead generation, but that doesn't mean that you can't run marketing advertisements. So marketing is going to be really about reinforcing your brand and making sure people are familiar with you. So if you did something where they have access to the video immediately, that's going to be more of a marketing play. So you're not going to capture as many people's information, but you are branding yourself to them. So it's kind of making that decision. Which way do you want to go on that?
Okay.
Try it both ways.
Try both ways?
Yeah, I mean, try, because I think a video, it's like here today, gone tomorrow. So if you put it out there now and do it as just as a marketing thing, just put it out there and see how it goes, and then figure out how to do it where the landing page is and capturing their information, and then try it that way. Because you're going to get different people. So it's not like they're going to go, oh, she's running that video again.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying first do it open to anyone watching, anyone can see, and then do it as an ad? Not
That's
vice
what
versa?
I would do, just because this is me. I would do it because I don't know how to do the other part. So I figured that I would do what I know, crank it, and then do the next one.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome. Well, we are running right at an hour here, so this last couple of minutes here is just going to be for Q&A if anybody has anything. But other than that, I would say we're ready to get close to the end here.
AJ, I have a question. This is Sonali.
Hey, Sonali.
Hey, AJ, could we do a class on where you can actually share your screen and help us make a couple of ads for newer agents who don't, I have one listing which I've already started a paid Facebook ad for, but content on listing on ads where we don't have listings, just to generate some kind of interest. How, being new in the market, we don't know exactly how to lead gen. And given the circumstance where you can go out, how do we attract people to our page?
Absolutely. Does everybody know
I
about?
would really love something like that. Thank you.
Does everybody know about e2psuccess.com?
Not enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you go on e2psuccess.com, we have the calendar for all of E2P right now. we're all doing lots of Zoom classes. I want to say like on any given weekday, there's about 10 or so different Zoom classes. And a lot of those are around Facebook ads. I've done a good handful in the past couple of weeks, but I know also we have other amazing trainers like Noelle and Amy coming in and doing really, really in-depth classes on Facebook ads as well. So we're doing a ton of them.
And this would be without a listing?
I only ever do it without a listing. I don't know what everybody else does. I focus on people who don't have listings.
So you suggest we go to E2P Success videos and look them up?
Yeah, well, just look for the next class. Just make sure you're ready for it, because the class is definitely going to be around. We're going to do a lot more Facebook classes. Just make sure.
That would be awesome. That would really be awesome. Thank you so much.
So just to add on to that, AJ, are the classes that you're speaking of, are those the ones that are already uploaded into, no?
Oh, I mostly meant just for the upcoming ones, so we don't miss the ones that are still coming up.
Yes, but we do have some that are on the drive that you can watch as well.
Good call, Dee.
One thing that I've heard that I think is kind of interesting is people that have been doing ads around listings have found success when they're actually advertising for buyers, not to get listings. So they have the listing and they're saying that they're looking for buyers, but that's helped to attract other listings.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty cool one.
I just thought that was kind of an interesting read when I've come across those. And the other thing that I know you can...
Wait, say that one again. Sorry.
So people will advertise that they're looking for buyers and they get listings because of it.
They just, I guess, can you give me an example of how they advertise that they're looking? You mean looking for buyers on a house that they have listed, not in general looking for buyers?
It's a listing that you have. You can just say, I'm looking for buyers in this specific area. And you don't have to say what it's about. And then they've been getting listing leads off of it as well if people also live in that area. Because they see that there's a need.
Because they see how you're working for the seller.
Right. They see that there's a need in the area too.
Without having an address that you are, like of a listing that you actually have?
Yeah, you could just say a town or a price point.
Oh, so I guess the ad will make it look like you're looking for a buyer for a listing that you have, even if you really don't. And then people are getting listings that way?
Yeah, that's one. So you can do it either way. You can do it for like on a listing or for just say, this area in this price point and not talk about any particular property. Because you can see what on the MLS, you can see how many things are listed, right? So if there's a lot of listing, well, they don't need to know that, right? As you can see what's listed in any given area, and you can say that, there's properties at this price point in this area, and I'm looking for buyers to help, find their next location, and then you end up getting buyers and listings from it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, so that gave me hopefully a good idea. Do you guys remember, like in Bold, we get that guy that comes in? What's it called? MyBuyerListing.com or like My Buyer Listing Packet?
Yeah.
Where it pretty much helps you market a buyer that you're working for.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty cool idea. Like, I have maybe not like too much on the demographics, but I have a family looking for a starter home under 300,000 with at least 3 bedrooms. Are you thinking of selling?
Mm-hmm.
So if you just like did like a little kind of anonymous profile of a few of your buyers and then ran that to a neighborhood, maybe you can get some good listing leads off of that.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I had thought of that's kind of next level is that Command will allow you to target your database through tags. So if you're doing like a client appreciation event or something that you really want to target the clients you already have, you can do the ad aimed specifically at them. Or if you have a bunch of buyers in a certain area and you have a listing that is coming up in that area, you can and your buyers are tagged as that area, you can target them as well through the ads.
All right. Well, if we don't have any questions, I think we're ready to wrap up. Real quick, can we get a big thank you for Amy? We did not ask her to be the co-host. She just stepped up for us.
I didn't want to step on your toes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy and AJ.
Thank you,
You guys always make a great team.
This is a good one. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Happy weekend.
You too. Thank you. Bye, guys.